come make one of my all-time favorite dishes with me, steak tartare. I am headed to a party tonight and I'm going to be bringing steak tartare with me, so come make it. I went to the Meat Emporium this morning and I got 2 separate packs of this. Is their grass-fed beef eye fillet butterflied. You don't have to get it butterflied. I do because I like popping these in the freezer for a little bit so they can kind of harden and it makes it easier to dice. Now you don't have to use eye fillet. I always say just look for a leaner cut of meat because you don't really want, unless you're going down the route of Wagyu, you don't really want your steak tartare to be too fatty. In the freezer these are going, and I'm going to start prepping the sauce. Now I feel like I never use like exact recipes. I'm definitely the type of person who eyeballs everything. For reference, I'm working with about 530 grams of meat. I'm gonna do 3 egg yolks. I keep the egg whites to make cocktails, my favorite being Arametto sours. We're going to finely dice a French onion or shallot. I like a bit of spice. I'm gonna use Tabasco. If you like spice but don't like the acidity of Tabasco, I would recommend using a sriracha possibly, but I feel like texture, like consistency wise, I prefer this because this is more of a liquid sauce. Good old Dijon mustard. I know some people will use like burger sauce. I've never tried it, but I just stick with Dijon mustard. I'm running out, but we've got anchovies in oil. We've got capers, probably pronouncing this wrong, Worcestershire sauce. We've got pickles, and I'm going to use the juice from a lemon. I'm going to start with 2 bowls, and I'm doing this while the meat is freezing, but I'm going to separate my 3 egg yolks and egg whites. I'm also going to make myself right now an Arametto sour. I'm going to do the juice of 1 lemon. I've got some diced shallots that I'm going to pop into the egg yolk and lemon mixture. I'm trying to decide if I jar this sauce and then add it to the meat once I get there, because I don't know, I feel like acidity, especially because I've got lemon and Tabasco in there, I don't want it to like cook the meat kind of like a ceviche, if that makes sense, because normally at home when we make it, I make it and then it's like in the fridge tops for like 25-30 minutes and then we eat it. However, I'm like an hour drive away from them already, so this will probably be sitting in the sauce for like an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes, and I don't know if I want to do that, so I might end up jarring it. Next, I'm going to basically kind of mince these together, so it's a rough chop through the capers. Some people prefer them whole. I prefer them a little bit more chopped up. And then anchovies, same. This comes out like as a 1-piece fish, so I'm going to chop this up. I'm going to round off all of the chopping with pickles. You don't have to use gherkins, you can use cornichons. Some people, if you don't like pickles, don't put them in, but it's really up to you. I used to do them with like the hamburger slice pickles, but I don't have those in the fridge at the moment. I've just got these tiny little adorable dill pickles. I've realized they're not dill pickles, they're baby gherkins. Now I'm going to add some of the not so dry ingredients, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna start with Dijon mustard. I'm gonna do like 2 heaped spoons. You can always add, but it's very hard to subtract. I'm gonna do like the tiniest amount of Worcestershire. I like a little bit of spice. I will say Tabasco is not like a heat chili, so I'm normally fairly generous with Tabasco. That's Tabasco in, and let's mix her all together. Because I don't typically use like the same recipe every time, I feel like my sauces always come out a little bit different, but that's a really bad way to show you what it looks like. So that's kind of what I have her as. You do want this to be a little bit on the liquid side, I personally find. Again, I feel like this is all personal taste and preference. However, I feel like you need something to coat the meat in. So I'm happy with this, and I've decided, yes, I'm actually going to jar this and take it with me. This is the sauce jarred. Yes, there is a lot of it. However, because I'm going somewhere and not making it there, I would rather have more than not enough. So I'm gonna pop this in the fridge and we're gonna check on the meat as well. Meat is not ready yet, so I'm gonna work on that cocktail. I put 2 cubes of ice in here with the egg white from one of the eggs that we just used. I'm going to pop the juice in of half a lemon because these are really juicy. A little bit of sugar syrup. I do a 1-to-1 ratio, so 1 part whiskey. This is the Johnny Walker Black Label. Do I think it makes a difference which one you use? No. Amaretto, again, 1 part. There is every chance this recipe is wrong. Cup with an ice cube, and I'm gonna shake. It's got like a little strainer on it. I mean, the meat's definitely still not ready, so I'm gonna enjoy this for a bit. I'm gonna start with one of the packs and we are going to work with this in sections. I've got a glass bowl. This is a Pyrex that I'm going to put the meat into, and that's what I'm going to use to transport it. This particular piece is 236 grams, and we're going to start by slowly slicing and dicing her. I've just finished dicing the first pack of meat. I'm going to leave the second one in there a little bit longer because it does weigh slightly more, so I'm going to give it as much time as possible, but I feel like I did this fairly fine. Again, this all comes down to personal preference. I know some people who prefer a chunkier steak tartare. I know others who prefer like almost a mince. I like almost a finely chopped. But while we wait for the other one to set a little bit more in the freezer, I'm going to pop this into the fridge for the meantime. Now, there are plenty of things that you can serve a steak tartare with. You can do, if you know how to, fresh homemade potato chips. You can do it with waffle fries. I've seen places do it with like gem lettuce. But to make things easy, while I was at the Emporium, I picked up a bag of crisps. So this is what I'm going to serve it with. To transport, I'm going to transport in a cooler bag with some ice packs, so everything can stay as cold as possible. I'm going to pack that absolutely last minute right before I head out the door.